Welcome to almost the end of the first week of October. So my name is Sundey Gardner, and today we are going to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is all about marketing and advertising. And so let me start with just a couple of simple questions. How many of you guys have attempted to do Facebook ads? Or maybe you've done Google ads, you've done some sort of paid traffic, or you know that somebody told you, maybe a little birdie told you that paid traffic is pretty amazing, and you jumped in and you did it. How many of you, if you have tried Facebook ads, type a 1. If you've never tried it, type a 0. I'd like to know how many of you guys have actually done it. And if you have done it and you are one of the lucky few, not so few as it was when we first started, but now, have you seen success? So have you successfully been able to run Facebook ads and get leads? Type a 1 if yes, you have been able to get leads through Facebook ads, or type a 0 if you've never tried it and you've never gotten any sort of success on it. Type a 0. Let me know kind of where you guys are out there for it. And I'm going to start with a little story. So I've been running Facebook ads since 2015. First ad that I ever did is when I had launched, my background is in the hair industry, and so we had a barbershop, and I closed my salon so I could be a full-time football mom, and I started an hair extension business. And so I was like, you know what? I don't want a brick and mortar. I want to sell it online. So if you're selling online, you need to run some sort of ad. So I jumped in and I ran some ads. Actually, I ran some ads when we had our barbershop. So I think my first ad in Facebook was in 2012. And I ran my first Facebook ad. Now, fast forward 10 plus, so 12 years from when I first did my first ad, and the landscape of advertising and the platform is totally different than it was in 2012. Hell, it's totally different than 2023. And, back in 2012, when I started running ads, all you had to do is run an ad, I didn't know anything about targeting. I just ran an ad and targeted the people who had liked my Facebook page, and I was trying to get more likes, and it was just really warm and fuzzy back in 2012. And then fast forward in 2015, things had changed, and I was like, okay, so I don't really want to get likes. I actually want to get buyers. So I started running ads, and it was hard. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And so for those of you who have run ads and you're not getting success, or you've tried it and you don't see it to be successful, how many of you guys are out there, like, you've tried it and you, like, your eyes sort of like gloss over like a deer in the headlights when you get into start running Facebook ads? I mean, let me tell you, AI has made it a little bit easier, but still, Facebook is like science. It is a really serious science project to be successful in Facebook ads. But I will still tell you, some 12 years later, I'm trying to figure out, am I doing the math right? Yeah, it's 12. So I started in 20. Yeah, so it's 12 years later. And I want to say we probably started in 2010, like 29. Anyway, let me not digress. It is sort of magic science, but still, even today, I still think that Facebook ads are the cat's meow. I'm going to tell you a little bit why. So this is not going to be a show on why I love Facebook ads, but I do. I do love paid traffic. And what I do, and the reason why I start with the story about the complexity is because paid traffic has its place, but so does organic traffic. And so, some 12 years later, after dabbling on Facebook and, being a semi-pro, because you really do, it's like you get the PhD and then you got to like keep going back to school to keep those PhD credentials down. And so I think I'm probably more like a master level, definitely not a PhD level when it comes to Facebook ads, is that there is a place for also organic traffic. And so if you don't even really understand all of that, let me kind of break this down to you. you guys create offers. I've been talking for the last several weeks about the necessity to create an offer, right? To have a stranger offer to attract people to your business. They can raise their hand and say, yes, I'm interested, and fill in the blank offer that you have. And then you've got engaging type of content that you're doing. And then you've got your, BFF offers where you're like, okay, I'm dropping my next trip, and who's ready to, go pack their bags and go, right? So all of that requires that you get in front of traffic. And you can have the best offer in the world, but if nobody sees it and nobody is interacting with it, then you just have a great offer that's not making you any money. And then ultimately you're complaining to me and everyone else who listen that your business is not doing well, and it all sucks, right? So let's not make it suck. The way to not make it suck is to make sure that we have a strategy to get in front of your ideal client. And there's really only two ways to do that. That's either through paid strategies or organic strategies. And everybody likes organic. So I'm going to start with organic, and then I'm going to actually end with organic. So everybody's like, when I ask people how much money they have for marketing, most startup travel advisors, businesses tell me nothing. Oh, or Sundey, I never thought about that. I never thought about, I don't know, how much money do you think I should have, right? And then I've got some travel advisors who are sort of doing this as a hobby, and they're like, I don't have no money for it, right? But the reality is that if you want to be successful in any business, you're going to have to spend a little, you're going to have to work a little before you start to see the return on those investments, the money and the time that you spend. And so traffic, being a steward of traffic, being an ability to get in front of massive amounts of traffic, is the name of the game. And so, when I started, I was like, free, give it to me free. Give me as much free as you can give me. Let me find as much free as I can get. And the thing is that even if it's free, it still requires some amount of investment, and that's going to be your time. So when I look back at my journey in my businesses, and I look back and say, what would I do different? I wish that I knew what I knew now then, because I would have invested more money to save more of my time so that I could focus on the strategy work that I needed to do in my business to get to where we are today. Same thing, even to get further as to where we want to go. So all that being said is, you have a travel business and you need to get in front of your ideal client. First, you need to identify who that person is. But which strategy is better? Should I pay for that traffic? Should I pay to get in front of people? Or should I do it free? And my answer is that you should do it both. Like, you should do both strategies. I can understand if money is tight and you're like, you know what, I don't have a lot of discretionary funds. But if you don't have a lot of discretionary funds, then be prepared to spend a lot of time growing a audience of people or getting in front of an audience of people organically. So let's kind of peel back the different two strategies, and let's talk about what you need to do to be successful in both of those. And then I'm going to end with kind of like where I landed in the whole strategy, in the whole sphere of things. Okay, so the first thing is organic. The reason why I start there is because people have finite amount of funds, right? When you're starting your business, or maybe you're just tight and you're like, I don't really know marketing that well, and I don't want to throw a lot of cash at it. I've been on both sides of the coin. I've thrown a lot of cash at marketing or ads, right? And didn't have the back end strategy on how to nurture those leads. And effectively, it's a waste of money. So what I will say is that when it comes to organic, be prepared to make sure that you understand where your people are at. Where are they? Are they in groups? I was just talking to a client yesterday, are they on LinkedIn? Are you going to go out there and you're going to hit the pavement and you're going to shake a lot of hands and kiss a lot of babies in person? So you're going to try and be at events where your people are at. Whatever you decide or the path that you go on to find your people, be prepared to make an investment of time. I was actually on a call last week. I'm a part of a women's travel group. And one of the advisors was talking about how she wanted to break, she has a really strong referral basis, and she wanted to break out of of doing the type of travel that she does. And she wanted to move to doing more adventure luxury travel. And so her strategy was to do, is to get out there in the local community and start, networking and doing that kind of stuff. And one of the things that struck me, which it also resonates with a lot of the advisors that I've talked to, is, one of the questions I asked her was, okay, well, when you go to events, even before I even asked her a question, she was like, well, I go to this walking event and there's seniors at this walking event. And when I go to this walking event, they, I don't necessarily want to travel an hour away to go to this event. And there's only 8 people. Listen, when it comes to organic, like, you got to be willing to do a lot of things that you may not be comfortable with doing, because that's what organic is about. So the traffic, getting in front of these people, whoever the groups of people are, is usually free to you. It's not something that you are paying for. And if you are getting it for free, then you need to be willing to do some things that are a little bit out of the box, like go to local events, right? You've got to be able to shake more hands and kiss more babies, right? So organic is really about building goodwill at a slower pace. It does take longer normally for you to get leads and for you to build relationships, but you absolutely need to have some sort of way to get connected to your audience. And so my recommendation on organic traffic sources are, whatever your people love to do, you need to be in the mix of that. So if you love to work with couples, where are couples at that you can meet? Are there couples groups that you can join? Are there couples, and I'm talking in person, like, are there Facebook groups that have couples? If you're going to grow your own community, that also takes time. So organic is not, don't expect that if you're going to have an organic strategy that you're going to immediately go viral. I'm going to give you some other examples of organic YouTube channel. A YouTube channel is an organic strategy. Doesn't really cost you anything except for your time to create the video content, post it, SEO it, and then wait for people to find it, right? Doing your website is another organic way to get found by your ideal client. These are all good methods, but they're not quick. You can't quickly get, let's say, 1 million people exposed to your offer, unless, of course, you go to an event that there's 1 million people and you're front and center of that, right? So organic is great, but it's a slower process. It's a beautiful process if you pick the right strategy. I'm going to pick on YouTube because I absolutely love YouTube these days, right? Because it is a strategy, the time. So it takes me time to record videos, but I repurpose videos. So this video that I'm doing right now will get repurposed. It'll get cut 15 different ways but west, and then it'll get repurposed with reels. It'll get repurposed with long, it will upload it, download it, and upload it again as a long video. Like, there's so many different things that we can do with one piece of content in the video space. My YouTube channel now has taken, now that we are completely committed to the content and the creation of that content, the growth of that channel is so much quicker than it was when I first started in 2018. I show up in the YouTube world 5 days a week, right? Sometimes even 6 days a week. There's some sort of content that is coming out on my channel so that my people can find me. If you want to do an organic strategy, that's the kind of commitment that you need to do, whatever it's going to be. So if it's YouTube, if it's Pinterest, if it's social media, if it's somebody else's Facebook group, hell, if it's even your own Facebook group, it's going to require a commitment of your time. There is no, don't think, oh, I'm going to post a social media post and boom, I'm going to get 1,000 followers. Now, you may, if you do a really entertaining TikTok video, or you've been able to hone in on your ideal client. Maybe you do get 1,000 views on a video that you do. That's possible, right? But what are you doing with those views once they come in? Let's transition to paid traffic now, because the benefit of paid. So let me just also say, I talked about the badness of organic, which is it takes time, but the goodness of it is once somebody is hooked into your organic world and they're receiving your content, that relationship that they have with you internally is a lot stronger. I'm going to use YouTube, Pinterest as an example, and those platforms where you can actually, and if you're in a Facebook group, let's say you're in someone else's Facebook group, or you have your own Facebook group and you're having conversation and you're connecting with your people, their relationship with you is a lot deeper than potentially on the paid side. So before I go to paid, I just wanted to tell you, it takes longer, but the relationship is deeper. So then when you start to do that sort of 80-20 that I mentioned yesterday, where you're giving 80% value and asking for withdrawals at 20% through promotions and that kind of thing, they're more keen to it because they know you. They've already developed some sort of relationship. They've seen you. Let's say you're in someone's Facebook group and you're posting valuable content and you're interacting with the members inside of the group. They are familiar with your name. They're familiar with your responses. They're familiar with the connection. So then when you ultimately do slide in their inbox, or you slide in their email inbox, or whatever inbox you're sliding into, they're not going to be like, who the hell is this, right? They're going to already know who you are. Now, let's transfer to paid traffic. Now, I have always had a million things going on in my life since I can remember. I've always had multiple jobs. I've always done, I don't know, maybe I have like ADHD, but I've never just done one thing. And so when I started in the online space, even though I was supposed to be retired, I was still supporting my husband's barbershop. I was still running around with kids. I had started an extension business, so I always had something to do. When I hired a marketing coach back in 2016, she was like, get a Facebook group. That's when I think, had my first Facebook group. Is it 2016 or 2015? I can't remember which year it was. And I guess that's the benefit of also being 50, right? So when she's like, yeah, get a Facebook group. I was like, what's a Facebook group? And she's like, yeah, Facebook group is like, an email on steroids. She's like, get a Facebook group. We're going to run your ads. It's going to be great. And she ran my ads, and it was expensive. Like, it was expensive for her to run that, like to hire her. It was like almost $10,000 for her to do what she did. And for me to learn what I did, it was the best $10,000 I ever spent, because it allowed me to understand the dynamics and the complexity of ads and the power of them. And so I had taken a class myself. I had taken a Facebook ads class, and I didn't know what the hell they were talking. I did everything that she said in that class. Like, I am a follower of instruction. I did every single thing that she said to do in that Facebook ads class, and I did not get one lead. I think I spent $300 because I forgot to turn the ads off and did not get one lead. I was like, this is some BS. And I know that many of you all feel the same way. You run these ads and you're like, I'm not getting any success. And that was before AI, because Facebook makes it a whole lot easier to target. So fast forward, make a long story short, fast forward. And then once I invested in the coach and her actually setting up the account and me learning and a lot of trial and error, what I did find this to be true is that paid traffic is quick traffic. It's quick. It's quick. I can get in front of thousands of people. If I'm willing to spend the money, I can get in front of thousands of people and do virtual handshakes and virtual kissing of babies without having to actually be present, right? I build it once and then there it is. So for me, and the time limitation that I have in my life, I always lean towards, if I need to get a quick response or get a message out quickly and I need to get leads, I need to grow a list, I'm going to lead to paid traffic, right? And so I am a very extremist, right? So I've in my life been like, okay, I'm just doing paid ads and didn't do any organic. And then I've been, bunk ads. Facebook has ticked me off. I'm just doing organic. And so now I think, I've sort of balanced out in my business. And I'm going to recommend the same thing for you as well, right? Have an organic strategy, have a way that you can still interact with people at a personal level, right? Either having your own Facebook group or being in other people's Facebook groups non-intrusively. So again, when it comes to organic, it needs to be about your ability to provide value to your ideal client, right? So when it comes to travel, How do you do that? How do you provide value? Well, what is your client like? What do they, I don't know who you work with. I don't know what they like. I don't know what they're interested in, but you've got to become an expert in that. If you want to see success in the organic space, and frankly, even in the paid space, you've got to be a steward of who it is that you work with. I don't care who it is or what type of traveler they are, but what are they? You cannot be successful in marketing and focus only on you. You've got to be focused on them. What is it that they're interested in? What type of things would connect with them visually and verbally and audio, right? So using all of the senses, and make sure that you are delivering content that way. Don't join a Facebook group and just think, all I'm going to do is promote my wares. I'm going to drop my packages in that. That's not value, right? That's not value that the people in that community are probably looking for. And certainly the admins aren't going to let you do that. If, however, you create your own sort of organic community where you're growing that community, to get people to engage and to get people to connect, you've got to provide value to them, whatever that may be for you and your community. Paid traffic. You just need to open up your credit card, make sure you can target and identify who it is, and then you can create a connection. The problem with paid traffic, although it's very easy to do that once you figure out how to do it, right? Either learn it or hire it. Once you do that, is that connection isn't deep. So they're fickle, right? Those leads can be fickle in terms of you getting them. So what you want to make sure that you do is that once you start a paid strategy and you start with paid traffic, is that you've got something that follow-ups on the back end that's going to deepen and start to create a stronger connection to you and your brand. All right. So let's say you have a travel guide and that's your stranger offer, and you start running traffic to the stranger offer and people start downloading the guide. That's great. But if you don't follow that up with a really good sequence and invitation to something or anything, they're going to look at that guide and it's going to go with all the other junk mail that they get in their inbox, and they're not going to do anything with it. So what I will tell you is, when you have a paid marketing strategy or paid traffic strategy that you're going with, is that you've got to have a really good follow-up game and a connection game that's going to keep people connected. So I'm going to remind you all of my system called ARC, which is Attract, Relate, and Convert. And attraction, if you want to attract at scale, in volume, paid ads is definitely a way to do it. Organic traffic, I think it's always important to have some sort of organic strategy in place. So, when you turn on or turn off your ads, there's always something underlying there. We use our YouTube channel as our organic strategy. We use our website as organic strategy. We use our social media platforms as organic strategy. When we need leads and we need to get registrations, we need to get buyers, we need to get exposure, right? Because the idea of Facebook and ad types inside of Facebook is you can even do awareness. We don't do too much awareness type of advertising, but you can. And the idea there is there's a specific goal for every ad that we run. Either I'm trying to get leads, I'm trying to get registrations, I'm trying to get attendees, I'm trying to get buyers, right? And so I think of ads like a project. What's the objective? What's the start and what's the end? How much money am I going to put in it? And what's my return? If you are comfortable getting to that space and your follow-up game is good, I recommend paid ads all day long. Both of them require a commitment of both time and money, and you've got to be prepared to do that. Now, what I'd like to ask before I skedaddle out of here is, which strategy do you guys want to grow inside of your business? Like, what is the number one strategy that sort of stands out to you, organic or paid? Let me know in comments. Are you looking to dip your feet in paid traffic, or do you want to stay in an organic world right now when it comes to getting in front of multiple people? Let me know in comments. And then what I'm going to do too is, for all those that do comment, is I will give you a response back once I'm done with this video. The other thing that I want to end with is, there is no right or wrong, right? If you've got income or money that you can allocate towards paying for it, what I will recommend is, do not jump into Facebook ads, Google ads, or any sort of ads without an understanding of how it works. Right? Because what I will tell you about Zuckerberg is he will take your money all day long and not deliver you not one result at all. Google, pretty much the same thing. It's like they will take your money if you don't know what you're doing. So you can set up the ad, you can put your credit card information, and you will not get any leads. You will not get any conversions if you don't know what you're doing. So don't get frustrated and say, oh, I've tried it and it doesn't work if you don't know what you're doing. When it comes to paid traffic, my recommendation is do not step into that lightly. If you decide to do paid events where you get to show up and be in front of people's audiences and you pay to do that, that's a paid strategy. It's not advertising directly, it's event sort of based advertising. And I'm going to use weddings as an example, right? A lot of people go to wedding shows if they specialize in weddings. They'll go to a wedding show and there's thousands of people that attend the event, right? And so it's very exciting because you're like, I'm going to be able to shake a lot of hands and kiss a lot of babies at a wedding show. And I specialize, so I'll be able to get in front of those people. What I would warn you about any event, paid event that you get where you are promised to get in front of a lot of traffic, the one thing I would ask the person before you spend your money is, how much exposure do you get? Do you get to show up in people's inboxes? Do you get email addresses for the people that are attendees? Are you going to be front and center on their marketing material? Or is it just a table that you have and then you get to meet as many people as you want? The purpose of any traffic solution that you go with, paid or organic, is your ability to connect directly with your ideal client. If you don't have that built as a part of your strategy, right? So if you have an event and you don't have a way to collect email address, and I'm not talking about on paper because that is so not cool these days, right? You should at minimum have a QWERTY card. You should have a tablet that people can fill out or scan immediately and get on the list. Like, no more paper, ladies and gentlemen, no more filling out a form. Like, we're in 2020, almost 2025. Make it easy for people to connect with you. And if you go to events, make sure that you have a way to connect with people. That's the biggest thing I see that people make mistakes of when they pay for going to an event with the hopes of getting exposure. If you're not doing online advertising or digital advertising or online advertising of some sort and you're paying to go to events, make sure that you're going to get the benefit out of it. And that really is for any sort of advertising. Make sure that you're going to get what you invest, right? If I'm going to spend $1,000 and I have hell, let me break it down. Even if I have $100, right? People will ask me, should I spend $100 on ads or should I go to this wedding destination thing? I'm like, if you don't have a funnel to get people's email, put your $100 in your pocket. And if you can, shake a couple of hands and those are your ideal clients, yes. But if you don't know who's going to actually attend and if they're going to actually buy or potentially be buyers, save your money. Go get some training, learn how to build a funnel, and do that before you go and waste money on things that you hope are going to work. We don't have a lot of money to spend. We don't have a lot of time to waste. So make sure that every ounce of time and money that you spend is going to get you ultimately what you're looking for. With that, I'm going to give you I'm going to peace out you, and then I'm going to give you an invitation. So we have our Sweet Success workshop, which is a workshop that we do once a month. This month's topic is travel requests and some amazing new updates to our Travel Pro Suite system are going to be announced the week of the 21st of October. So I encourage you all to register. That is a free workshop that we do every month. It's 3 days, starts on the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Go to onlinetravelboss.com/sweet success to register for the workshop. And if you all are going to be inside of our video visibility challenge this month, which starts on Monday, I will see you on Monday. And I will see you then. So for those that have been replying in comments, I will reply after this training is over. And if you would like to catch me inside of office hours directly starting now, go to sundaygardner.com and join me in the Zoom room. I'll see you on tomorrow's training. Bye.